Welcome back to the channel. Today I went to Harbor Freight for Black Friday and found something that I believe every car guy needs, especially ones that have project cars and then have their daily driver. So if you have a car without suspension, this is probably going to be the best thing that you can buy because you'll be able to move your car around. Most of the time, people buy wheel dollies so they can move their car around, but what do you do when you don't have suspension on the car or wheels on the car, or you want to do body work, you want to paint the engine bay? I think this is going to be the best thing to buy. These weren't on sale for Black Friday, but I was looking around, I bought some other stuff, I saw these, and I was like, this is something I have always needed. Another thing is these are going to come in handy when I get a wrecked car from the auction, like that recent Charger Hellcat where it was hit really hard on the passenger side and it didn't roll. If I would have had these, I could have put these under the car. Plus, when the car is stripped, rolling it out of the shop is going to be a ton easier. So let's get these unboxed. I'm sure there's going to be some assembly required, just like with everything you're going to buy from Harbor Freight. But I can't wait to try these out. I'm going to actually try them out on the Pulsar first. I'm probably going to buy another set for cars that I get from the auction. They're definitely heavy. Definitely some assembly required. I really like how they're packaged. It looks like everything is in here really nice. You're not going to have any issues with getting this and it's going to be scratched. There's instructions. Pretty straightforward. You don't really need those. This base right here, I almost wish it was, instead of a triangle or 3 points of contact, I almost wish it was 4. But since there are going to be 4 on a car, I don't think it'll be that big of a problem. It also is pretty heavy duty. It looks like about 1/4 inch plates, and then it's going to a pretty thick 1/4 inch bar. And then also this looks around 1/4 inch. It's probably not exactly 1/4 inch because it came from China, but it looks like it's pretty good welds, pretty heavy duty. I don't think there'll ever be an issue. Plus, it doesn't really have that high of a rating. It's only 3,600 pounds. I don't know if it's 3,600 pounds a piece or if it's 3,600 pounds a pair, because it comes with a pair in a box. So if it's 3,600 pounds a piece, that's actually not bad, because you could put a diesel truck on these things if you wanted to. But I'm guessing it's probably 3,600 pounds a pair, because these wheels, I don't think they're going to handle, you know, an 8,000 pound truck. It looks like all of the casters have locks on them, which is really nice, because when these spin around under a car and then you don't have a lock on the outside, it's actually really nice. All the hardware comes in a little baggie, really convenient. And it's pretty straightforward. These just go on here. That's why I said you really don't need instructions. And then all the washers are already separated. I was looking at these assembled at Harbor Freight. They had all the bolts going from the bottom up, which I really don't like, because if the nut ever comes off, which it shouldn't, the bolt will fall out. Plus, it looks a lot cleaner. Now that all the casters are on there, a lot of bolts, but not too many. It wasn't too bad. You need to pull these things out. They have like these rubber pads glued on here. One comes out, the other one is welded. Then you have your pin. I'm probably just going to go all the way up. Like that. Pretty simple. These bolts are what clamp your pinch welds down. Make sure there's a rubber inner, so when you're clamping the pinch welds, it's all, your body's on rubber, the pinch weld's on rubber. It'll keep it nice and true instead of using a jack stand and then it smashes the pinch weld down, which nobody ever wants. So let's just thread these nuts on here. Bottom is also packaged really nicely. Everything is just tucked away in here. A whole nother set of hardware. all of the washers and bolts and nuts are separated really nice, and you don't have to worry about anything being damaged. This is awesome. Okay, now I have all 4 of these assembled, and I'm going to try to stick them on the pulsar. I actually probably have to straighten out some pinch welds because it seems like this has been jacked up a few times the wrong way. This has been jacked up by the pinch welds incorrectly. Looks quite a few times. So I'm going to straighten these out really quick, and then I can put the dollies under here. For quite a bit of manipulation with the vice grips and a hammer, the pinch welds are pretty straight. I'm probably gonna have to go back over them with a hammer and a dolly. But the good thing about these is you can clamp the pinch welds down, and this is a nice straight surface and flat surface. So this might actually flatten that whole pinch weld all the way down. Look at that. Oh, that's nice. The jack stands back. And these. Can't believe how easy this moves. This is the best purchase I've ever made. Back her up from the rear diff. Right. Other 2 in. The thing I did is you can see that I have the triangle side going on the tire side just so there's a little bit more room, and it makes it so when you're rolling it around you don't have both of these points on the outside, because I feel like it could tip over a lot easier. So that being said, let's try to roll it around. And the good thing about these dollies is now I could roll it hopefully really easy and get it in positions and move it around that you can't do when you have to steer it from the front. See how easy she's gonna move. Oh man, this is so nice. I can literally push this up against the seat now if I want. Or I can pull it out. Look at this. It's so easy. I don't know why I didn't get these sooner. And now I can push, my plan is to push this back here because I don't use this space. Woo! Definitely clamp them down. I was moving it around without it being clamped down. And yeah, definitely clamp them onto the car. But otherwise, yeah, let's clamp it down really quick so we cannot have the car fall off of these. Bolted the 2 or tightened the clamps on the 2 rear ones, and there's nothing in the front of the car, not really any weight. So how it's sitting, I only need 2 of them, I guess. The front is not even touching either of these. Let's try this again with them clamped down. Hopefully they don't fall off this time, because that would be a bad thing. But it does move around really nice. I must say, I'm very surprised, and I like how the wheels are like a rubber instead of like a hard metal. So if you have epoxy floors, it's not going to damage them. Run something over on this side. Run over a crack in the floor. Oh man, this is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted. All I wanted for Christmas was more of these dollies so I could roll my cars around. Now that I'm done rolling and moving the Pulsar GTIR around, this is awesome because I could spin it around literally in a space about this big, as big as the car, because it's on casters now. The great thing is after I'm done moving it, I could just lock these right here. Now they're locked. I don't have to worry about it. The one thing, I wish these were a little bit inset or had 4 wheels or casters, because then it wouldn't have this sticking out, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is kind of sketchy because you could definitely trip over that. And these aren't really even mounted and bolted to the pinch welds. They're not really hard bolted, so I'm guessing there is a possibility they might slide out. Another thing on the JDM Pulsar GTIR is the pinch welds don't come down that far. I straightened them out, but even with them straight, you have about that much pinch weld to clamp onto on the inside because the floor is lower down on the inside, and then on the outside you have about maybe ½ an inch. So I'm gonna say maybe it's just car to car, but on the Pulsar it is a little bit loose. So I would recommend watching them when you're moving them around, even if they're clamped down. The rear seems like it's really clamped down well, but the front is a little bit more sketchy. So the great thing about this now is I've had this front clip off a B13 Sentra. Everything is very similar, but the only thing that's different, so I needed this piece right here on mine because they cut it out for the intercooler pipes. You can see the holes. Then they cut here out for intercooler pipes. So the B13 Sentra is the same. So I have the sheet metal to fix this in this, but on the lower apron, it's different. So I've been trying to find one from a Pulsar GTIR so I don't have to modify the B13 Sentra. And what's different is some of the hole mounting on the bottom. So on the side, it's the same, I believe, but on the bottom, some of the holes that hold the subframe in are a little bit different. So I've been trying to find, even if it's just this bottom section, I still have the B13 Sentra pieces. Okay, the B13 Sentra ones aren't identical. It's missing a hole here on each side, but they're very close. And the bottom is very close as well. On the B13 Sentra, it has these little pieces right here that hold the bumper. I do have a brand new Pulsar GTIR bumper that I got from Japan under that table. So if I could get this core support section fixed, I could paint the engine bay. I could put the Neo VVL in it. Probably shouldn't have told you that I got a Neo VVL for the Pulsar GTIR, but I did. And I could get all the front suspension back on the car and then work on the rest of the car, which would be really nice because then it would run and drive. So I'm really happy that I got these dollies because it makes moving the car around a little bit easier. Plus it cleaned up this area big time. So I now have all my shipping boxes over there. I have my Cerakoting / shipping table right here. And it just made this whole area a lot more usable. Now I could also get to the 240Z a lot easier. I'm trying to clean up the shop as much as I possibly can, but I can't just dedicate 100% of my life to cleaning the shop up because then I wouldn't make any progress on any of the projects. So I'm gonna end this video here. I'm super excited about these dollies. If you haven't checked them out, I'll put a link in the description. They're also at Harbor Freight. They're not terribly expensive, but if I bought a set for every car that I have in the shop, it would probably be like $5 grand because I have a lot of cars. But also, I'd be able to move them around a lot easier and it would be a lot more productive. But at the same time, I don't think I'm gonna buy like 20 sets of these things. Like these videos, make sure to click the subscribe button, throw a thumbs up, throw a comment below what you think of these dollies. And as always, see you guys next time.